Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV Business. So what's BMTV Business? Well, we do sometimes get asked by our customers and others about aspects of business that might not be directly related to the balloons and the party supplies. So we thought we'd run a series of shows that help you out in your business, working on the business. So today, very first show, we're joined by Guy Robinson. Guy, thank you very much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Would you like to tell everybody who you are and what you do?
I'd say my name's Guy Robinson, and I'm from Xebra Accounting, and we help owner-managed businesses to grow and improve their performance. So we work with those people and help them to understand the financials and to look to see what we can do to help you get more money on the bottom line. So
I thought we'd start. We do get asked quite often by people about that are just starting out in business, what they should do. Do they have to register a name? Should they do this, do that? What would we recommend? It's a long time since we started. I've forgotten. So I just thought I'd ask you to share your thoughts on that. What are the key things you think people should do when they're first setting up their business?
Okay, it's quite a big step to set up your own business, and there's a lot to think about. But assuming you've got what you want to do and where you want to go and all sorted out, the first thing you need to think about is how you're going to trade. So are you going to trade as an individual, a sole trader? Are you going to trade as a partnership with somebody else, which effectively is a sole trader but there's more than one of you? Or indeed, are you going to go into a limited company from the day one?
Okay.
So that's probably the starting point.
I remember when we started as a sole trader. Rachel started as a sole trader, and then I joined and became a partnership. What are the benefits of one over the other?
Well, setting up as a sole trader, or indeed even as a partnership, is the easiest format. You don't have to worry about any legal structures as such. You are the business, and off you go and set up your business and get started. Whereas with a limited company, you've got to go through a whole series of processes to set up a limited company in your name, and then you have to have various compliance issues. So you need to comply with before you make a start.
And you've got to file reports to Companies House and that sort of thing. So what would the benefits be of becoming a limited company over a partnership?
First of all, there's risk. How much risk is there from what you're doing? And if I illustrate that by suggesting if you were to set up building bridges, you probably would want to trade as a limited company, because the risk of a bridge falling down would be more than you could bear as an individual if there was a claim against you.
So is that where the name comes from? Limited liability?
Limited liability, yeah. So you're protected to a significant extent of anyone making a claim against you.
See.
If you're a sole trader, anyone can claim against you as an individual. And a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah.
So they would go into a limited company format to avoid that possibility.
So if you're a sole trader and you end up becoming a multi-million pound business, and then somebody brings a claim against you, you could lose your house, your car, everything.
Yeah. So which is why a lot of businesses, although they start off as sole traders, do convert into limited companies further down the line, so that they protect the wealth that they have built up.
I see. Okay.
The second reason is perception. People think that businesses are bigger because they're limited. Well, there is a logic in that, because a lot of very small businesses are sole traders. But there's also a lot of people out there who want their people to think their businesses are bigger than they really are, because that way they can actually sell to bigger organisations themselves. And one way of doing that is to make yourself limited, so people think that you're a bigger business than you really are. And then the third reason is that there are some activities that you may wish to do which you have to trade as a limited company, because they're heavily regulated or whatever. But for a lot of people who are doing work like balloon sculptures, they may set up as a sole trader and be perfectly fine trading in that format for a long time, if not forever.
Okay, good. So you've decided which format of business you're going to be. What did you call it? Not format, which type of entity?
Yep.
Whatever you
said. Legal entity.
Legal entity, there we are. So you've decided what you're going to be. How do you choose your name, or what do you have to do? Do you have to register the name of your business or anything like that?
Essentially, you can go with any name you like. One of the things you need to avoid is having a name that is similar to somebody else's, particularly if you're in a similar line of business, because that can be known as passing off. You're pretending to be somebody that you're not, and that is not permitted.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you can choose a trading name of your choice. The trading name doesn't have to be your name, and the trading name doesn't have to be the name of the company either.
All right, okay.
So you can have a partnership, sole trader, or a limited company with a completely different sort of names to the name you're trading as.
So you could have John and Joan set up their
Yep.
balloon decorating company, and they could have John and Joan Limited, but they could call their balloon company Balloon Trees.
Absolutely.
I just saw the tree behind you, and I just thought of Balloon Trees.
Yeah. So
okay.
this is where you get the names, and then trading as Balloon Trees.
Yeah.
And balloon trees can be at the top of your headed note paper. You do need to show on your invoices and legal documents your trading name as well.
Yeah.
But that can be in small print at the bottom.
Yeah. But there's no need to register anywhere then?
No, there's no need to register your name. You can do, and you can go further and trademark it and things like that, but they're all expensive things to do. So most people, particularly at the outset, don't bother. The one thing that many people do early on, though, is even if they want to trade as a sole trader, they often buy the limited company of the same name.
All right, okay.
And leave it dormant.
Yeah.
So that gives you an ability to move your business, Balloon Trees Limited, at a later date, and stops anyone else pinching the name whilst it's still available.
So let's assume then we've got the name. You've decided that, let's say we're going to be a sole trader.
Yep.
What next?
What next? Well, there are a few things you've got to do from a compliance point of view. So you need to tell the revenue that you are trading as a self-employed person, or indeed as a limited company, and there are timescales which you've got to do that. So it's something you need to do early on. You need to get your tax references from the revenue so that they can communicate with you, and that your company or your business has a reference for all their tax affairs. So there's those sort of things you need to look at. Okay.
And so if somebody's working full-time, say, and they do balloons at the weekend, they do it in the evenings for friends and family to start with, and they start getting business in, do they still have to register as not register as a business, but tell the taxman effectively that they are trading?
Yeah. It's essentially, if you're doing something with the intent of making money, you'll bring yourself under the scope of income tax.
Yeah, yeah.
And you need to pay your tax and notify the revenue that you have a job.
So that scenario I just gave there, where somebody is working, they're obviously getting paid by their employer. Yeah. How does that work with them then registering as self-employed as well?
You can be an employee in one or more places, and you can still be self-employed as well and deal with that separately. All you need to worry about if you're an employee somewhere else is, as a self-employed person, you need to disclose what you're earning to the revenue.
So would you just do that on your tax return
that's
at
right.
the end of the year?
Yeah. A lot of people think that you only fill a tax return in if the Inland Revenue asks for one.
Yeah.
It's not the case. It's the obligation is on you to report your income to the revenue if you have income.
So if somebody's been employed their whole life, generally they may not ever have had to do a tax return.
Absolutely.
But as soon as they start to become self-employed, even if they are employed, it's up to them to then make sure they fill in a tax return.
That's right. I mean, in practice, if you only earn a few pounds a month from doing the odd sculpture for family and friends, you're not going to be under the revenue's eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you are actually doing it with the intent to sort of build it into a business, albeit a small one, then you still have obligations.
Okay.
If your business turnover is less than £15,000, there's very little you have to tell the revenue, like your income, your expenditure, and your profit. That's it.
Oh, right,
Three
okay.
figures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if it's above that, you have to start producing accounts. which break down your income and expenditure as per the revenues guidances.
So you bring me on to my next point there is, how would you recommend people start? Because accounts, I think people hear accounts, including myself, and think, oh, no, what do we do? I remember when we first started, the accounts nightmare I had, because we didn't really know what to do, what to record, how to record it. What are your suggestions there?
Okay. Well, there's been a lot of change in the accounting world in recent years. We've seen new cloud-based accounting systems being coming onto market, and probably the best known of these are Xero and QuickBooks Online, but there are many other ones, including a couple of free ones available on the internet. The beauty of these products is they're actually easier to operate than using a spreadsheet, and we would thoroughly recommend that someone starts off with one of these systems from the word go, because it then records what's going on in your business from the day one, and then you will be in control of your finances. In fact, the statistics show so much that if you do that from the day one, and if you do have a plan of what you want to do, and you take on board an accountant to help you hold your hand during the process, 80% of businesses are still there in 5 years' time.
Yeah, you were telling me that earlier on. So is it 80% of businesses that start fail? Is that right?
Yeah, 80% of businesses that start fail within 5 years.
But then the ones that survive, of those,
80% of those have an accountant, have an accounting system, and a plan of what they want to do.
Yeah.
And you can almost guarantee success.
I wish Xero had been around when we first started, because it is so easy to use. You can just log on and sign up for an account now and use it personally, can't you? You can even manage it for your own personal expenses. But no, that's fantastic. Okay, so let's assume then, so we've got the name, we've decided we're going to be a partnership or sole trader or whatever. I've decided, okay, we're going to be sensible and get an accounts package like Xero, if not Xero, and decide on an accountant to help us through that journey from the off. What else would you say is essential to do when you're first starting out?
Well, that you need to get some insurance sorted out.
Okay.
It's important that you have employers' liability insurance. That's a legally requirement.
So that's if you just employ people, isn't it? So you wouldn't need that if you just set up as a sole trader yourself, you wouldn't need to.
Well, it's useful to have, because you could do something and then you've got protection for you.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it covers you as a sole trader as well.
That's right. Now, you also need to look at public liability insurance. Now, believe it or not, public liability insurance isn't a legally requirement.
Really?
But employer liability insurance is. But the two normally go hand in hand, so you wouldn't actually tend to buy one without the other.
Yeah.
But public liability protects you in case any member of the public makes a claim against you in your business because of something you've done.
Yeah.
Whereas employer liability protects you from if your employees make a claim against you.
Yeah.
And if you're trading as a limited company, for example, all the people working in it, including you as the owner, are employees.
Yeah.
So hence why you would take that out even if there's only one of you.
One quite good thing about the balloon and party industry is there's a couple of industry bodies, NABAS and BAPIA,
Yes.
and as membership of those organisations, you actually get that public and employer liability insurance.
And there are quite a few other organisations around, like the FSB, which will give you that sort of protection from the word go, which is well worth having. Another thing you might want to consider is where you're going to be working from. Most businesses actually start working from home initially. And what can we claim, if anything?
Yeah, we started at home, and it was a bit messy because we were working from home, whereas we had both been employed before, and we were obviously heating the house and electricity for the computer and everything being on, and we weren't too sure what to do because we didn't have an accountant when we started. So yeah, what do we do there then?
Well, you can claim the additional costs incurred of working from home compared to not working from home, So let's assume it costs you £10 a week to heat your house. If you find that by working from home it's now going to cost you £15 a week, then that extra, the £5 extra, you can actually claim as a business expense. And you can do that for anything where you incur some cost.
Yeah.
But it has to be the extra cost over and above what you would incur normally.
It's quite hard to measure, isn't it?
It is. And a lot of people don't in reality. And there is a flat rate allowance that you can apply without having to do any of these calculations, but it is only £4 a week. So it's not a lot of money, £18 a month.
Yeah.
And you don't need to keep any receipts or do any calculations. If you choose to calculate it, then you have to produce receipts, and you need to keep those with your business accounts, because you've got to demonstrate that you want to receive more than £4 a week.
Yeah.
And so you have to, keep that information to provide to the revenue if they were to ask.
Actually, talking of insurance earlier, and now talking of working from home, how does working from home affect you? Because you'd have home insurance.
Yep.
How do you have to tell your home insurance?
Yeah, you should tell your home insurance and take out a separate policy for the business.
Oh, right, okay.
So you're not going to take out a policy for the house as such, but you're going to take out a policy for the employer's liability or the public liability that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to be careful working from home. Sometimes it can be a condition of your mortgage that you're not supposed to be, in which case you may need to speak to them to tell them.
Yeah.
It may be a breach of the bylaws of the area you live in. So there's lots of things that you just need to be careful about. As a generalisation, if you're not disrupting anyone else, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
But if you start having burger vans outside the house, you may find, particularly if you live in a modern estate, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
And the problem is, as a business grows, if you're still working from home, eventually they will start to assess part of your house as if it was a business and apply business rates to it.
Okay.
And you can enter into a whole area of messy accounting, messy dealing with the revenue, etc.
I don't even know that we considered half of those things when we started. Looking back, we considered the electricity, and we ended up just not doing anything with it. We didn't claim any of it through the business.
I think this again is why it's really helpful for businesses to find an accountant early on, and find one who's thinking in the new way of accounting, not in the old traditional way. Who can actually just spend a bit of time, effectively hand-holding you through these things that need to be done. And we do a lot of that, and we actually give favourable rates for businesses that are starting up, because we want to help people. You are our future clients, and all said and done. Let's
imagine then we've started our business. We've told the tax man we're self-employed. We've got our name. We've decided to become a sole trader, and now we're growing. We're doing business. We're doing okay, and it gets to the stage that it's time to employ somebody. What do we do there? There's two industry organisations for the balloon and party industry. One is called NABAS, one is called BAPIA. As part of the membership for both of these, in most cases, you get both those insurances, so the employer liability and the public liability. As I say, in most cases, you get those insurances included in your membership. It's got water slides that sort of go down the back and underneath, and so, it's spectacular. It's got ice rinks, it's got a bar that's run by robots, it's got a zip line. It's just huge, and it goes from here in Southampton. So anyway, it got me thinking. Saw it on the news, got me thinking holidays and stuff like that. So I thought I'd show you some of the holiday tropical style stuff.